We'll leave the big light on for this one. Why not? It's a Belinda Carlisle song. Leave the light on.
Leave the big light on.
Leave the big light on for me.
Leave big light on.
The landing light.
Belinda. That's Belinda from Carlisle.
Yeah.
Hey.
Very good.
Fucking hell. You throw him up an alley, Tim.
Very droll.
Very droll.
Yeah, so we're slightly different look. Well, you can't see it because it's just a camera shot if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, if you're listening on just an audio podcast, is what makes sense. But there's a bit of sunlight in this room now.
I feel like
I know. It's I couldn't deal with it any longer. I had to break down some of my, I have to say, elite level soundproofing, and I don't care. I'll take the odd truck going past. You know, it's a horrible.
the odd eggy chemical smell from across the road.
Yeah, well, there is a bit of a breeze coming through because that window isn't the best. It's like the thinnest of single pane.
I don't know if you remember, but I don't know if you, or when you were a kid, if you ever came down here as a kid. But I remember on the odd occasion, because this is a bit out of the way. This, isn't it? When I was a kid, used to come down here. I don't know if that place over there has changed hands, but that place used to fucking stink.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Stink. It was like is it ICI? A place called ICI. Like
I can't remember what it was, but I do
chemical
remember. Yeah.
Bloody recycling plant. Fucking hell. Drive past it, stunk, man. Don't really smell anymore, but
No.
I don't know what they're doing there.
It's
probably why this office smells. It's probably some hideous fucking green goo seeped into the soil underneath his office.
You get one of them Geiger counters in here, it'll be going.
Yeah.
At least we're not near a nuclear power station or anything either.
Yes, there's one of them just over the fucking hill.
Just over the road, yeah. Well, giving some secrets away here where we are, but yeah. So we are back with another podcast, Massive Wagons podcast.
I tell you what, if another country was to attack this country, right, and they wanted to do some serious damage, well, we live right. This is exactly where they would drop the missile, isn't it? A chemical plant. Next to two power stations right next to each other, you know, they did talk about maximum damage.
I've heard that. Oh God, I was straining into nuclear physics here, but
oh yes, of course we are.
I'm pretty sure. I was told that it's actually really quite hard to do some serious damage with a power station through any kind of physical.
Is it? Oh, right, okay. It's got to be like an internal catastrophe.
Yeah, but then again, that one is it Fukushima?
Oh yeah,
you know that caused some damage, didn't it? That was an earthquake.
Tsunami, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Well, that cracked, didn't it, or something? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Let's
information.
Let's move on to something we do know. Anyway. Something about, if not a lot, something. So what we're going to sort of do from going forward, maybe not every week, but this week certainly.
When we can't think of anything.
Yeah, we can't think when there hasn't been a meltdown on stage somewhere, or or a rock star has not kept his trousers on. We're just going to ask some questions. Well, we're not going to ask you questions. You're going to ask us questions, and you're going to either leave them in the comments or email massivewagons@gmail.com with a question, and then if there's out that catches our eye or we think is something worth the talking on, we'll talk about it. So I've got one this week.
Nothing too hard, please. No maths questions.
No nuclear physics questions, please. Got one this week. Cool. This is from Philip Dickey, and he's from Belfast.
Does he make the jumpers and the shirts?
I don't know if he's from Belfast. He's from Bucky. I'm guessing it's
Scotland.
Not Northern Ireland. Or is it Bucky?
Yeah, Bucky's in Scotland.
All right.
I'm sure it is.
Coming to watch us in Belfast anyway. So.
I'm sure it's in Scotland, Bucky. Because it's up near Inverness way, I think. Might be wrong.
Right, okay.
Aberdeen, Bucky.
All the way up.
I think so. Don't take my word for it. Anyway.
So, yous were looking for questions on your podcast. Mm-hmm. So the question is, how easy or difficult is it to get played on the radio? I listen to Planet Rock from 6:30 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday because it's the best radio station, in my opinion. And he's not wrong. I do feel, as much as I like Iron Maiden and AC/DC, I feel they don't play enough new music through the day. I notice when you release a new single, you seem to have to qualify to get to the playlist, I think. When I would have thought the station would think, Massive Wagons, new single, let's get it out there. Or any new music from any other artists. Loving the new material, can't wait to see you in Belfast, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so that's Philip and Brenda from Bucky
Good question.
Maybe in Scotland.
These are a good question. Listen, what happens is, everybody that's releasing music that week, we all line up for a race. Yeah. Have to run across a field. Whoever gets there first.
A couple of weeks ago, it was Baz and Ozzy Osbourne.
David Coverdale.
And he still lost.
And
so, we didn't get on. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's in our experience, there's a pitch involved. You know, you have to. Radio stations of a certain level work. They have. I don't know how to put this really, but you know, they have their own objectives to kind of to meet and fulfill, and they have a demographic they're targeting. So of course they're going to heavily vet what they play.
It's a business, isn't it?
On the radio. I'm sure it does happen on certain shows, but general daytime shows they have a playlist.
Certainly for the daytime shows, like you say, because that is prime time radio, isn't it? Really, well, in their eyes, you know, and you can't, you know, there's a lot goes into deciding what gets played in the daytime. I mean, you get your definitely get your specialised shows in the evening. I know a lot of newer bands, certainly, I think Planet Rock anyway. Newer bands get played on like does Wyatt have a show? He used to have a show in the evening, didn't he? And we first got picked up by Planet Rock. Our first ever songs were played on. I can't bloody life of me remember what his show's called.
The 2 a.m. show.
2 a.m. show, yeah. The Wyatt 2 a.m. show, yeah. But yeah, they play a lot of new stuff on there, and I think if you get, you know, you sort of get picked up on there quite a bit. You know, they you know, if your career's serious and you're doing good things, and you know you. Qualified to be put into a playlist meeting, kind of a thing, isn't it?
It is. As like there is definitely kind of. I have to put this, but you know, there's big and small radio stations, just like there's big and small bands. Big radio stations meaning they have a much bigger listening audience, you know, at any given time. And yeah, you generally find the bigger the station gets, the more discerning they are about what they play, and what, you know. Obviously, if it fits in with what they're trying to sort of go for as a station, I've noticed certain stations. You know, I think this is fair to say, Planet Rock really leaned for a time. I'm not sure if it does anymore, but quite heavily towards like country, southern rock.
Over the last couple of years, it's definitely there's definitely been a lot more of that. You know, the Brothers Osborne, they're a massive part of that, aren't they?
Yeah, well,
Cadillac Free, Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah. These bands,
stuff. But I think I'm not blowing smoke up Planet Rock's ass, but I am a bit because they've got our backs and they played us a lot. But it's very true when I say. I'd always agree with the stick they get sometimes with playing the same old stuff. I think compared to a lot of radio stations, they have a massive. Yeah. They really do try and play a lot of stuff. Yeah. They play a lot of different music and a lot of different genres within rock, metal, punk. They play it all.
Yep.
And they do have, as do all stations. They do have the classics. You know, you do play the classics. You know, People want to hear the AC/DCs and the Guns N' Roses and all that, Led Zeppelin, and that's the backbone of it. But I think more than most, Planet Rock definitely go out on a limb and play.
I think they do, yeah, absolutely.
They play most of the bands that we associate with, don't they? You know, Rivers, Hot Damn.
Yeah, like the newer bands,
Virgin Marys.
I mean, it took us a long time. I remember the first time we got played on Planet Rock back when you were sort of mentioning. I remember that being around about 2016, 17 maybe.
It was, yeah.
And it was every now and again, and it was generally Back to the Stack.
I think that was the first one, to be honest.
That was the one that got like, and I think that was just a right time sort of thing, a timely kind of song. But then after that, I don't remember there being much pitching involved, if I'm honest. But it was just we were sort of played when there must be a bit of wiggle room for DJs to play what they like in amongst the sort of playlist kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we got a few of them slots, and it wasn't really until I'd probably say the House of Noise album when songs were like, I remember there was like we were told, oh right, there's a meeting at, you know, these radio stations, about the playlist this week, and In It Together is being, talked about in that meeting, and then a week, a few days later, we'd hear what playlist it got on or not, with the A, the B, or like, is there a C? I can't remember. Is there
a list, a B list? Is there a C list?
I think there might just be an A and a B. And the A, obviously, they get played a certain amount of times a day. B would be, I don't know, maybe once a day or something. But if you got on the A playlist,
that's what you want, isn't it?
It's good. It's great. Obviously, it sounds obvious, but if you get on the A list, you're going to get some heavy rotation, and it's sort of guaranteed. That's happened a few times to us.
I know a big part of the Planet Rock cycle is the events as well. I mean, if they hold the events, Winter's End and Rockstock. I know we got booked. You get booked for those events, and that certainly. I mean, they're pushing their event. They want people to buy tickets for it, so naturally they're going to play the bands that they've booked on the radio, because that makes total sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And through being booked for, I think the first one we ever did was Winter's End, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was back in about 2017, I think. Yeah,
that's right. Wasn't it? Inglorious played it, and a few others I can't remember, but and then we started to get a bit more frequency on Planet Rock, and it does, and it comes down, and then once you've got your foot in the door and you go down well, and the listeners like it, and it's like everything. It's just like building blocks, isn't it? Your shows are selling well, and it's up to you to keep writing music,
radio worthy, songs,
and keep the ball rolling with your career, and be present, and be relevant, and be active.
Absolutely, it's radio is a part of a bigger kind of game you've got to play. Yeah. As for like how easy is it, there's all, like I said, all we can really do is write the songs that we do, and then make sure they get on the table, at these meetings, which is kind of down to our manager, and also down to the record label to some extent. They might have someone who's
and absolutely, it is never a shoo-in that you are getting on the radio.
Oh, no.
Even if you've had years of play.
No.
If you think, I've got the new album coming out, we'll get these new singles on the radio, we think they're great. If you're going to a playlist meeting and fucking, you're up against a load of other big tracks from big artists, don't rest on your laurels and think, well, we're getting played, because
no.
I know bands, that haven't made it onto the radio that you would have gone, wow, really?
Yeah.
But you're up against it. You've got to be good. You've got to be. It's whoever they deem is the most worthy of the space, because it's valuable time on the radio, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And so, for example, using Planet Rock as an example, Missing on TV did make, I think it got the B list, but then it dropped off quite quickly. I don't know why, because in Germany, in the radio stations over in Germany and in Europe, it's still now, like four months later.
It's on like
heavy rotation.
On Radio Bob, they have, I think they have the A list, and then they have like a flipping super A list, and it ended up on that, which was like the maximum rotation on one of the biggest rock stations in Germany. Radio
Bob being the sort of Planet Rock equivalent in Germany, but
which is amazing.
Bigger rock listening population in Germany.
Yeah.
So it's that's a really big deal, And
then Night Skies comes out, and then in terms of Planet Rock, that's gone.
Yeah, that went top.
Straight to the top of the A list, and that's still being played in heavy rotation. Well, we're very lucky. I mean, it took us a long time to wear this up. I mean, we've been going like 8 years, I think, by the time we managed to figure out the process, the proper process, wasn't it? We were like, where we wrote the song Tokyo about being disgruntled about never being played on the radio, but it probably was nothing to do with the radio. It's probably to do with us being morons and having no idea how to go about doing any of this. It was only when we got some management and some people around us to go, let's do this properly, that it started to make sense. And it's good now that you see bands that have been going a fraction of the time are getting played on the radio a lot quicker. It's good, it's good. The process is.
You're welcome.
I'm only joking. It's not that I was, is it? But it's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice to see.
Yeah. No, it is great. Because you say you want more new bands played. There's plenty of radio stations out there. The online ones, the smaller local ones that were our bread and butter, and still are to some extent for a long time.
Absolutely.
You know, these are still important.
Yeah.
I know Meridian FM, Guy Bellamy, he did amazing things for us back in the
He did, mate. Yeah.
in the early days.
That was I mean, that guy. Yeah, he's very, very passionate about us when he met us, wasn't he? And played us all the time, championed us all the time, and TBFM, Mucka J. And,
TBFM.
TBFM when they were going, remember them? And several others, the digital stations, just your one-man bands.
Primordial.
Amazing.
Primordial being almost like a cult kind of cult radio station.
Yeah.
You know, that's an amazing thing that they do. No adverts. Check it out. It's all done via like a monthly kind of membership subscription.
Yeah.
And we presented a show on it for a few months.
That's how bad things got for them.
Yeah, but don't hold that against them. But yeah, it's all very, you know, the radio thing is still such a big, you know, it kind of lingers on, whereas a lot of other aspects of the music industry have changed and evolved, how people consume music, you know, physically or digitally and all that.
Yeah.
But radio's not gone anywhere, has it? You know, if anything, it's bigger than ever.
No, it hasn't. No, you're right. It's still very, very powerful in certain places. Definitely. I mean, I remember when we put "Please Stay Calm" out, and I remember thinking, "Oh, I think this song could." I mean, getting on your Radio 1s and your Radio X's. I mean, that's still a mystery to me. It's still a mystery to us. I mean, I don't really know how that works. Getting in with those guys.
I think we're too old for Radio 1.
Too old for that shit.
Starters.
I've passed caring, to be honest, about that. But certainly, I remember "Please Stay Calm" coming out and thinking. I mean, I thought this would be good on something like Smooth, you know. And as ridiculous as you might laugh at that, and you might think that's stupid, but when you're a band trying to find new people and break into new crowd audiences, I thought, well, you know, I don't mind a bit of smooth radio. It's cool, some great stuff on there, Elton John and all these people, and it's rock music, and I thought that'll be perfect on there. And I contacted somebody that worked there, and they were like, no.
Did you contact them?
I know somebody that worked for them, I think, or works for them. I can't remember. It was a while ago, and they basically said it's. I don't even think they have playlist meetings.
No.
I think it's a real closed shop when it comes to.
Yeah.
No, that is a flipping that is a playlist that is played round and round.
It is.
There ain't new music getting on that.
No,
that's the big hits.
There's no music beyond 1989 getting on Smooth FM, is there?
No.
You know?
But I was maybe a little bit naive. I thought, oh, yeah, it'd be great. Maybe they'll take a chance, you know. No.
Play Nails on Smooth FM. the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, as to how we're going back to that, you know, it's you got no control really to some extent. Some things like you think would be a sure bet. I remember Triggered, our last album before this new one coming out, November the 8th, pre-order now. Was I don't think we got much from that. On Triggered. We got Forget the Haters quite briefly. I remember that didn't hang around long.
Yeah.
And Please Stay Calm, I don't think did at the time. I really don't think that got made any playlists on Planet Rock. And
it was on Planet Rock.
I know it does get played on Planet Rock now.
I don't know how long it was on the playlist for. No.
But
what was the other single off?
Generation Prime.
Well, that went on to Kerrang, didn't it?
Oh, it did, yeah.
Kerrang did. Kerrang, it was on the morning show with Sophie Kay. Because we did there was like an exclusive.
Oh yeah,
for
I
Kerrang
remember now.
Radio
Yeah,
only.
that was it. Yeah,
and that was on that. And this is the first time. This is the first time we've ever had a track on both Kerrang and on Planet Rock.
The
first time it was on. I think Mission on TV and Nights guys has both been on. Kerrang,
both been on both, haven't they?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, you know.
But then you get all these other songs that seem to get played on German radio and Austrian and Swiss. Asshole for some reason.
They love a bit of swearing, don't they?
It's not such concern over there.
There was no Forget the Haters in Germany, was there?
No, there's whatever Ofcom is in Germany.
Fuck Ofcom.
Yeah, fuck Ofcom. Yeah. They don't seem to really mind a bit of that. No. I don't know if it's the language thing or what, but
well, it's funny because we have a radio plugger in Germany. She's a wonderful lady. And every time we have an album out or some songs, we'll send her all the songs, and then we let her decide what she thinks is best. And if there's anything with any like profanity, she's like, this is the one. This is the one.
This is it. Like,
they're gonna love it. Like, you're crazy.
But this is why radio pluggers still are good ones, like Claudia. She's worth a weight in gold, Absolutely. Because she can read that situation. She's been doing this, working in the industry for a long time. She has a finger on the pulse of what's going to work in that moment, and she'll be like, oh, that might have worked, last year, but now it's kind of more about this. So you've got to, we learned to just, okay, well, if you think that's the song that you live there, this is where you do your business.
That's the trust thing, isn't it?
You go for it,
Was there a song we put out in Germany on the radio that we didn't do over here? Was that on Triggered?
Well, Asshole certainly never made it.
Well, what am I on about? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Of course, what an idiot. Yeah, Asshole. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, because she said that's the one, isn't it? And it's like, right? Yeah. You just if it was up to you and me, if we had to decide, you'd just make such a mess of it. We're not German. We don't live there. We don't know the culture. We don't know the trends. We don't know what people are listening to. You've just got to. I mean, as well, somebody like Claudia, radio pluggers, they have spent. You are making the most of the 10, 20, 30, 40 years they've spent building up relationships with radio stations.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The radio stations trust these people.
Yeah.
And it's a massive, massive thing, You could walk into a radio station with the next big thing and they'd tell you to piss off, She walks in with it and it's like, right. Yeah. It's important, very important.
But it's up to every band really to figure it all out themselves. You do get the occasional darlings that just seem to just step out into the world stage and straight onto A-lists everywhere, all over the world. Not mentioning any names, but not bitter. No, but like whatever. But there's more to that than meets the eye. You know what I mean? There's always more to that.
We're going for longevity, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going for just hang around long enough.
We're eking it out. We're dragging this out as long as we can. It's working as well. We're fucking good at it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that is it definitely is a factor.
I'll tell you what, mate. I mean, I know it is tough at times, but I'd rather be do what we're doing and have a bit of a slower burn maybe and be relevant for a long time than be a flash in the pan, be big for 5 minutes, and then all you seem to be doing is coming down from a big height.
That's very true.
Do you know what I mean? Bang, and then all your career is just like that, isn't
constantly,
it?
Yeah.
You're constantly playing slightly smaller venues, playing your first album, over and over again.
Yeah,
But whereas I think we're quite lucky. Everything we do is
it's just slowly the gradient.
Like but it's like that though, which I like. It's positive and it keeps you going.
With the occasional sharp upwards trajectory, but there's been no. Yeah, it's fair to say for us, we learned this from the ground up. We've talked about this in other. Well, you've mentioned it before. We didn't even know what a radio plugger was for years and years.
No,
I talked to Luke Morley at Thunder. Talked to him at length. Name dropping. I talked to him at length about this, actually. He's written songs about it, that they always struggle to get on the radio, bands like that. I don't think it was unique to a band like Thunder, though, because they sort of happened at a time when rock music was changing dramatically.
Bad luck on it.
Bad timing.
Such an amazing band.
And, but yeah, they paid a lot of money to them, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of other stories like this, of bands of all ages really, invested a lot of money in radio pluggers who just haven't been up to scratch, haven't done the job. And
well, as we know in this game, a lot of people say a lot of words. there was a lot of talk, isn't there? A lot of talk. Yeah. I've worked with this person, that person, done this, done that, and then you work with them yourselves and you realise they met them once and they did something for somebody else for them. People don't always take people's CVs at face value.
Exactly, and a healthy scepticism of promises is always good.
Absolutely,
in any game really, not just this one. But yeah, that's basically how radio works. You don't have to, there is an element, and it might it was a bit disappointing to me when I discovered that that's what it was like, that it was a lot more, cold and analytical than just, I'm a DJ, I really like this song, I'm going to play it,
Well, Matey Boy was the king of that one. What was he called? John Peel. When he died, he was the godfather of I play what I want, I love it. And they gave him free rein, didn't they?
Yeah,
and he was loved, wasn't he, for that? For giving bands a shot on the radio. But yeah, a lot of things are a lot safer now. Money's a lot tighter, and I understand it.
Yeah.
You just can't be as blasé with things. Things have to work, don't they? You can't set things up to fail.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, Planet Rock, clues in the name. It has to be rock music. People, they know the kind of people that are going to want to listen to that, and they've got to keep the spread nice and even across it all, and
keep people happy.
And I think they do a good job of actually playing a good balance of new bands and a diverse selection of that. Their bread and butter. It's a big piece of bread.
Their specialist shows are great. The blues show and
exactly,
the Americana show and all that, and it's all there. If you don't always hear it, doesn't mean it's not going on. If you just listen in the daytime, maybe you do get fed up of hearing the same songs. But if you did have the time to listen to some of the stuff after 6 o'clock, or Saturday morning or whatever, Bernard Doherty doing the blues show, and it's Sunday morning. I've listened to that quite a few times. You get all your blues and all your other stuff. Is what it is.
Yep. Well, I mean, no, when we generally practice Thursday nights, and driving back, it's the country show on Radio 2. It's got some great music on that. Every time, just put it on. And
is that with Slim Bob? Does he still do it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
He's not ready. He's
amazing.
He's not fucking radio for years, isn't he?
So these excuse me. These specialist shows, they're good as well. And I don't know how you go about getting on them. I think they are curated by whoever's presenting them exclusively. So maybe, those are the shows where there is a bit of a room to flex. But yeah, radio. There you go.
I heard Toby Jobson playing us the other day, which was nice.
Toby Jobson
on his show. Thanks, Toby.
See, that's always mental to me because I
crazy,
loved Little Angels growing up. I was always playing that Jam album, and it's just crazy that
I've never really. I've heard us played on there obviously plenty of times, which is always very, very cool. But I've never heard as many times ever being played by not really guest DJs because they're on there all the time, but the kind of DJs,
musician DJs.
Yeah, musician DJs. I've never heard us played by Alice Cooper, I don't think, or Joe Elliott. But I've heard Danny Bowles play us a few times, and I've heard Toby Jepson play us a few times.
Alice Cooper has.
Has he really?
Alice Cooper's played.
Probably just played us and never the fucking hell was that. Who the fucking hell was that?
Yeah.
Never heard of these
guys.
Played
that by accident.
Yeah. How did that get in there?
No, I've heard, because I remember that happening and thinking, oh wow, Alice Cooper's just said our name.
Oh, fucking hell. I know a few years ago, quickly, what album's banging on the stereo on?
House of Noise.
House of Noise. We got played on Elton John's Apple only
I remember
radio show. And it's like half an hour or something, or an hour. And he don't play many songs, and he played banging on your stereo. And I was frigging hell. That blew my mind.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
it. My mind.
I didn't believe you at first. I had to go and listen to it.
He's not played fuck all else since, but
no.
I was like, Elton John has played banging on your stereo. And he picks his own short music.
Yeah.
And he's very much into new music, apparently, because I was frantically Googling it all and found out he goes out and buying. He's one of these ones that goes and buys CDs, and he's always jamming his fucking head full of new music, which is very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big up Elton if you're watching. Nice one. Cheers, pal.
Yeah. I was trying to think of some Elton John puns then, but just not quick enough. Oh, well. We'll wind it up. Still standing. No, doesn't work.
Yellow Brick Road.
No, I can't think about
Brown Dirt
Rocket Man. No. I'll get back to you next week on some Elton John puns. I know the one about the lettuce, though. Do you know it, don't you?
The what?
The lettuce.
The lettuce?
Yeah, he doesn't like iceberg lettuce. He's a rocket man.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's my one and only Elton John joke.
I didn't see that. Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
Head over to massivewagons.com. Check out, we're on tour with Kissing Dynamite through Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Belgium, all across Central Europe over the next month, really. We're off in a couple of days. And then after that, we've got a UK headline tour with Florence Black and Cam Cole.
Check them out.
Don't have time to list the venues, but just go and get a ticket. Go see where we're playing. Get a ticket. It'll be good. Be a laugh.
Mind up.
See you next week.
Okay, Rocket Man.